Today I would like to remind you that continue the topic what we discussed last week, because the sutta what we touch, Dvayatānupassanā Sutta, it speaks about many ways how to realize strong disenchantment, strong kind of stopping of liking things, stopping to delight in craving, in desire. So it speaks about 16 different ways. Last time we discussed 3, today we continue to discuss how many it will possible. So I would like to remind why, from my opinion, we have many different ways how to practice. Because I feel myself, and I have discussed it with many monks, and many monks reported, when you usually start have any Buddhist practice, usually you follow any method, like Pauk method, Gayanka method, like Mahasi method, whatever. So all methods, they kind of one particular practice what was worked by this for this Mahatera, for this senior monk, and then he shares this method with the people. So this worked for him, that's why he shared it. But when you start to study suttas, you see that Buddha preached thousands of different methods, like all of them slightly different, or some of them completely different from each other. So when you first touch it, you see so many things, how to practice it, But after some time, you try this and that, and I think this is a goal of kind of spiritual such. You try this and that method, and after some time, you notice that what more work for you. For sure, you cannot straight away experience nibbana, you straight away experience enlightenment. But you can, after some time, if you careful pay attention on your mind, see what inclination your mind have, what tendency your mind have towards which practice you take it more easy and it have a more wholesome effect, or which practice not make sense at all for you. So after some time, you may have a direction. And I noticed after some time of studying sutta and practicing it, you may have a kind of filter. When you meet such topics, what you already know, what a little bit work for you, you pay attention on it and try to develop your practice. But when you meet some topics what not work for you, you just kind of put it aside, not reject, not accept it. Okay, it's not maybe for me. But again, it doesn't mean that we need to be kind of closed and not accept any new things. Also, should be a time when you kind of ready for explore and even for example, Chitta Upassana, or observation of mind never works for you, but still kind of try to see some new inspiring quotation and try to apply your mind again. And at least the minimum what you get from this, you be sure, okay, it's not for me. But in best case, maybe this would give a more new flavor for your practice. So our job, again, as a Buddhist followers, to try at least to pay attention and take seriously all the variety what Buddha give us. So the fourth practice, and I like to remind that all of these practices, Buddha said that if you completely realize them, your destination can be only one of these two options. One is Arahant, full enlightenment, another is Anagami, who never return in this world. So the next topic what he suggests to reflect, it's about Saṅkhāra. And the Gatha is Yan kinchi dukkham sambhoti sabbam saṅkhāra pacchayam saṅkhāranam nirodheti nati dukkhasa sambhavo. So whatever dukkha, whatever suffering, whatever dissatisfaction may arise in this world, all of this based on Saṅkhāra. And with the cessation of Saṅkhāra, there is no dukkha arise. So what is Saṅkhāra? Yeah? I use word dukkha and I assume you understand what is dukkha because it's so common. But Saṅkhāra is more complicated term because it have a big variety of meanings, and I think in this specific case it's referred to more broad meaning of word Saṅkhāra. More refined meaning of this word is kind of intention or volitional formation, any intentional action what in mind or in I have, or any decision, choice, in Sutta Centrals they like to translate this word as a choice. Not so bad. And in more broader meaning, it's any mental activity. Whatever formation in the mind happening, whatever kind of, when I see the reality, I have a perception of this reality and I have my attitude towards this. I like it or dislike it. So even I don't make a choice, I don't make a strong intention or volitional action, but still this kind of movement of the mind. This is already, we can say, Saṅkhāra in more subtle way. So, and here Buddha says that like whatever Saṅkhāra arise, like whatever dukkha, whatever suffering arise, it's always based on Saṅkhāra. It's always based on this mental activity, mental volition, intention. So again, like from practical point of view, one thing we need to understand what is Saṅkhāra, like to see in our mind what is this. Like, okay, when I have a desire to do something, like how it arises, like what's it based on, like how it just before I didn't have a desire, but now I have. How it's happening, just to see it. And then also in more subtle sense, try to see any movement of the mind, what is happening in your mind. And next step, try to see how this activity created suffering. Like how, when I have a desire or like I make some choice, I attach with this, and then something happening not according to my desire, I'm suffer. So in more like obvious level. In more subtle level, if you're really in good equanimous state, you don't react on anything, and then you have some mental reaction, this is itself, it's not pleasant. Like before you was equanimous and equal, but now you have to react. Even small like or small dislike, it's already feel from that equanimous state very unpleasant. It's a dukkha. So whatever observation available to your present level of spiritual development, that is the area what we need to investigate. Don't need to try to see, like imagine things what you don't understand or like what is not my level yet. Like try to see, okay, like I read in this book this and that, it should be like this. So just whatever experience we have and how I understand this experience, try to learn from this. Because in the end, Buddha teaches us, try to see in reality like anicca, dukkha and anatta, like impermanent state, like suffering and non-self. And in whatever reality, not necessary to have a microscope and see reality as like small particles, like and see anicca and dukkha anatta there. In this exact experience, you can see it, and you can, because the goal of this to have a disenchantment, like to disillusion. I don't have much enchantment to these particles. I never see them. But to these things, what I experience every day, this is the area where I need to work. So, next things, what Buddha mentioned, it's about Viññāṇa, consciousness. And the same things, he just say, whatever suffering may arise, it's all based on consciousness. So consciousness is just experience what we have, like process of seeing, process of hearing, process of sensing body, or process of mind. So all these 6 kind of consciousness. And whatever experience we have in our life, in the past or in the present, or we imagine ourselves in the future, it's all part of this consciousness. It's all part of this Viññāṇa. And when the Buddha say that all dukkha arise from Viññāṇa, and by cessation of consciousness, the cessation of, I just honestly don't know what to do with this kind of information, because it's so fundamental. We cannot experience something beyond consciousness. By definition, consciousness is when we're conscious, we cognize things, we experience things. Beyond consciousness, yeah, we know that nibbana goes beyond all these things, but how many of us experience nibbana? But at least what we can do in this way, we can contemplate when I crave for this or that state of experience. Like I want to experience this, I go to the beach to see the sunset. Yeah, I have a desire to have this experience. Or I hear some nice sound with expectation to have something from this. And all these 6 senses what may arise. So see how this desire, this kind of craving or expectation creates suffering. How we really suffer when we don't get things. Or in more subtle level, even the desire itself, it's a dukkha. Like before I'm okay, I sit and comfortable. Then I saw the object. Yeah, maybe like it's the most desirable object for me. And I had a desire, and it's already not peaceful because it's kind of dissatisfaction. I'm not satisfied with whatever I have now. I need to take it and like experience this something. And then because of this, I may have some indigestion or whatever, like whatever may happen, So I suffer from my desire. So the next things, what Buddha is saying, he speaks about Phassa, about contact. Like the contact, as I understand it, is in Sutta usually describe like meeting of three things. For example, like eye, forms, like or any shapes, whatever we see, object of the eye, and the eye consciousness. Meeting of these three, it's a phassa, it's a contact with eye. And if there is no eye, cannot be contact with eye or visual experience. If there is no forms, I cannot see anything. Or if I'm unconscious, even if I sleep but with open eyes, some people can do like this. So there's no experience, they don't have a phassa. So one thing, we need to see the phassa, to understand. It's possible to, it's happened very quickly, like eye, open eye, form, and consciousness, and then next, like feelings and so on. It's happening very fast. But when you pay attention on this, you may recognize and have a little bit sense what actually contact is, what is phassa, like what is this. And when Buddha says that, like whenever dukkha arises, or maybe in this case, because the God is different, tesam passam paretanam bhava sotanusarinam kumagga patipannanam arasam yojana kayo. So whoever beings overwhelm or suffering with a contact, in a way, they all follow the stream of existence. All of them follow their own path, and they far away from cessation of bondage. So here, the interest in the word is phassa paretam. You can translate as usual in gathas, in Buddha's verses. It may imply many meanings, because he sometimes plays with the words, and it may seem like one meaning or another. And knowledgeable people say that both meanings apply. You need to contemplate on both meanings to really try to understand what Buddha meant. And two meanings, what at least I see here. One thing, who just have a phassa. We as a born human beings have a contact. Like we have a sixth sense base and there is an object. We bound to have this phassa. Like we cannot do anything. Like since we have a body and since we exist. And this forces us kind of to follow the stream of existence. We exist, we follow the stream. And it also forces us to follow the wrong path. Because usual stream of existence and stream of the world, you just follow your desire, here and there go, like searching for this, or like take care about or like me, or my family, exactly like kind of egoistic ideas. And it's okay from the worldly point of view. And because we have a sense, because we have a contact, it implies that because of contact, I have a desire for this. So it's easy to follow this kind of wrong path from Dhamma point of view. And because of this, I'm far away from liberation, far away from freedom from bondage. And another way how you can understand this word paretam, it's who kind of attached with phassa, who desire for any experience, he follows the stream of existence and follows the wrong path and finally far away from nibbana. So it also makes sense because we have a choice. Like now we have a contact with Dhamma, we have a conscious choice, like at least to try to apply it to practice, and at least on theoretical level we understand that to follow desires, it's not really a peaceful way of existence. We want to experience something more fundamental, more deep, and more kind of stop this repeated existence again and again, suffer from birth to aging and death. And we have a choice. We can again and again observe how this contact creates a suffering. And again, just this observation itself, it would be enough to at least try to let go. Because when I again and again see how I create my suffering by myself, it would, even without any teacher, I would start to think, oh, maybe I can do something with this. So the help of teacher is just to point you, please look there. Just sit and look and remind you about this. But the insightful experience, everyone have by himself. And this actually what calls you to look more or to let go to real insight, real development. And the last things what I want to mention, it's Vedanā, feelings. Interesting things, just my observation here. All these things, in a way, it's dependent origination. Because as you remember, before we discussed, first was Four Noble Truths, then was acquisition, appropriation, then was avidya, then Saṅkhāra, Viññāṇa, Phassa, and Vedanā. And it goes with tanha and so on. And Buddha say each of these steps with a deep realization can lead you to arahantship or non-returning. Rather than I was taught when I just started to learn Buddhism. In some method, they say only this step, like observing Vedanā and try to stop reactions, try to not react on any Vedanā. This is a way where you can break this dependent origination. But interesting, according to the Buddha, every step can be, yes, maybe I agree, this step is more easy because we see how we have a kind of feelings and then we react on it. Here, again, some choice apply. We can choose it. But all of previous step for wise person with a deep realization also can lead to nibbana. That's what I say, is like Buddha imply thousands different ways how to reach there, and like all of them can lead you to nibbana with a proper wisdom. So what is Vedana? What is feelings? All of you know. It's a mental experience of pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. So at the beginning we may confuse feelings with a bodily sensation, because the word feelings sometimes imply I feel the body, like sensations. But Vedana imply all 6 sense bases, my attitude, like felt impression, I would say. I see the nice form, I feel pleasant, I feel unpleasant, I feel neutral. Or I hear the sound, I have a thought, or even like bodily sensation. So it's a mental reaction, I would say. And so the Gatha is Sukham va yariva adukham, adukham asukham saha, ajhatam cha bahitha cha, yan kinche attiveditam, etan dukkhanti niyatvana. So pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, what is inside or what is outside, what is caused by inner or outer experience, whatever felt experience arise, all this we have to see as a suffering. Mosadhammam palokinam pussa pussa vayam pasam etam tatta viññāṇati Vedanānaṁ khayam Bhikkhu nicchato parinibhuto. So whatever experience we have, felt experience, we need to see it, one thing as a dukkha, as a suffering, as a dissatisfaction, another thing as a disintegrating nature. So it arises and passes away. It's not continuous. Every time we experience different felt experience, different feelings. Even it's interesting when you have a maybe strong headache, when you suffer, like it's a painful experience. And at the beginning it may seem like I always have painful feelings. It's continuous, it's never stopped. But when person try to pay attention on this more kind of carefully, you may see that its painful experience come together with some other experience. Like sometimes I experience unpleasant. Like if, for example, this pain is a like object of my, like let's say, concentration. Yeah, I concentrate on this. After some time, you may feel pleasant mental experience from the concentrated mind. And imagine it come together with the pain. So you feel the pain and you feel. So it just changes so fast. We cannot see usually kind of difference between it, but it happens. And of course, neutral experience, it's very difficult to see when you have a strong pain or strong pleasure, but it's there. All neutral experience also have. And in the suttas, Vedana many times compare with the bubbles, like surface of water in the rainy season, and rain continuously comes to the water, and the bubbles arise. And they arise so fast, you can have an impression that bubbles always there. Like it's just in different place, but it just happening, it just continuously. But actually each bubble come and go, come and go, come and go. It's so fast. And same when you deeply experience Vedana and you see closely this experience, you may realize that there is no continuity there. It's just boom, always like coming and going. And so this Buddha encouraged us to see. And this also he called it Mosa Dhamma. He called it nature of illusion. So we have an illusion that it's continuous. I have an illusion that I always have some feelings. But it's not true. It's not so. And when you start to see kind of impermanent nature of this and it's not continuous, then you may lose desire to get it. Because, I mean, why I need to suffer to experience some desire when I have some experience, I have some pleasant feelings, and then it's gone. Next moment is gone. I have to again do something, drink something or whatever, like get some stimulation to get this Vedana. And this way of seeking for this pleasure from the feelings, believing that it gives me complete satisfaction or ultimate happiness when I will be always happy, it leads to suffering. If I believe this, if I try to achieve it, but it's unachievable by definition, it cannot be like this. And then we suffer. And imagine that human beings have this nature, we may suffer all our life to try to achieve this, and we say, no, little bit I need to strive, little bit, like just this small achievement and I get a new car, and then I will be happy. Just this small achievement and my son will get a nephew, and then I can relax a little bit. Or on my retirement and can be happy. And finally, like after death, maybe I can be happy. But when we achieve this, it's always like kind of running. That's why it's never early or never late. Start to notice these things and try to do something with this. Try to notice, okay, I react by habitual patterns in this way now. Okay, I accept this. It's my place where I am now. But I can do something. I have a choice. I have like among maybe 100 experience when I go by my desire. In one experience I can have some detachment. Okay, like maybe let go. Let go with, like, because we want to satisfy our desire, we want to be happy. But if we know the way how to be happy from letting go, it's easiest way, yeah? Like otherwise to try to achieve something you need to apply a lot of effort, but to let go, you need just to have a taste to enjoy letting go. Have a taste to, it's more subtle taste. But it's possible to have. So, yes, I wish all of us to develop this taste for more subtle pleasure, for kind of letting go pleasure, and try to experience many practices what Buddha give us and find what really worked for me and what really would lead me to complete letting go, complete freedom from attachment, and ultimate happiness. So, sadhu, sadhu.